do do do. Josh review. Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to another album review with me, Joshua Smith, and today we're going to be doing an album called Sounds From My Memories by an artist named Monochrome. It was released March 6th of 2015. There's no chart information available. It's from his own self-made label, Dorm Room, and its singles are Remember and Simpler Times. So without further ado, let's get this started. Also, the background music that you're hearing is the main menu theme from the compilation game Sonic Mega Collection, and I thought it fit well with this whole album review because of what's in, the album itself. And this is a game that I grew up playing. It kind of really got me into Sonic the Hedgehog and everything. It was my first time being truly exposed to what Sonic was at the time. So, yeah, enjoy. Also, Sega, please don't sue. So, I've been requested to review an album by an independent artist that goes by the name of Monochrome. We talked on Twitter, and he was telling me I should check out his album and all that stuff, and I asked him if he wanted me to review it, and he said he would greatly appreciate it. So, then I asked for a little backstory on this album, and here are some of the things that he told me. Monochrome is not only the name of the artist, but the main protagonist of the story within the album. Putting it simply, the album is a journey to reclaim lost memories, and what makes it even more interesting and creative is that it plays out like a video game, namely Sonic the Hedgehog. Each song is its own level or act, like in the original Sonic games. There are 3 acts before Monochrome reaches a boss battle. The main boss of this game, as well as the main antagonist of the story, is a character named Monochrome. Monochrome is someone that lives in the shadow of Monochrome, hence his bitter, hatred of him and the entire reason that they fight. The album is incredibly cinematic, if you couldn't already tell. The style of music is actually hard to describe. At face value, one could say that it's a mixture of progressive rock with some pop rock and some elements of synth pop, but it goes even deeper than that. This album is very sample heavy, but what's really cool about it is that it samples songs, effects, and sounds from different forms of media, namely video games. When I talked to Monochrome, he told me that this album samples the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Bros., Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Catherine, Nights into Dreams, Shenmue, Streets of Rage, Earthbound, F-Zero, Legend of Zelda, and so many other things. But what's really interesting, and what stuck out to me the most, is how Monochrome actually speaks through these samples. His entire speaking pattern is created from voice samples from different video games, cartoons, anime, movies, and so on. These represent Monochrome's memories, the very memories he's fighting to attain. A bit more personal backstory for you. Monochrome told me that the reason this album was made was because his peers essentially bullied him for being into such childish things like Nintendo games and cartoons. And honestly, I can relate to that on a personal level. I'm not going to lie. I'm 19 and I still watch old cartoons from my childhood. Billy and Mandy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Camp Lazlo, DuckTales, and even shows for young children like Dragon Tales and Clifford. And why? Because I don't want to let go of those memories that made me who I am. And that really is the whole basis of the album. And not letting go of your memories. And it's not just memories of video games or cartoons, they're memories of people, loved ones, relationships, experiences, everything you experienced in your youth, everything that made you who you are as a person. And that's beautiful. Some more examples of various samples include Dire Dire Docks from Super Mario 64 on Remember, Red Mountain from Sonic Adventure on Monocchrome's Return, and One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII on the final boss fight. Each sample is carefully interwoven with the rest of the backing tracks, making it feel nostalgic and fresh all at the same time. Monochrome's vocal work is very interesting, to say the least. The tracks on this album are very melodic, and each track follows a similar melodic pattern in the same vein as Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, keeping the story and flow continuous. Monochrome's choice of melodies appear to borrow a lot from things like Egyptian scales and the Mixolydian mode. The melodies are very unconventional and could be considered weird to some. If you're not a fan of experimental and unconventional melodies, then you might have a hard time enjoying this album. Personally, I'm more open to experimental things in music, but I can't lie, I found some of the melodies to be quite odd, but on tracks like For Too Long, Remember, Forgotten Truth, and Guide Me, I thoroughly enjoyed the melodic patterns. After every boss fight, there's a short segue moment, and there are a total of 3 of them on this album. They go in this order: Save, Saving, and Saved. This is symbolic of what Monochrome is trying to do throughout the album, his entire journey. For me, these sections were the best parts of the album. They're short bits that sample sounds from music from video games like Pokemon, Beautiful Joe, and Kingdom Hearts. And they just kind of break up the action without completely cutting off the flow, and that makes it even better. he wants to save his memories, and by the end of the album, he has saved his memories. And that's another thing I have to talk about, the end of the album. By the time I get near the end, there's a final boss battle between Monochrome and Morkanam. It's a lengthy 9-minute piece, but it's jam-packed full of action and emotional struggles. At first, Monochrome is ready to take out on Morkanam, but fails, as many people probably would, trying to take on the final boss for the first time. He then gets a burst of encouragement to once again take on his nemesis, to which he prevails. After the fight is ended, they both come to the realization that they shouldn't be fighting each other, and that there is a more powerful entity out there that they can only defeat if they team up. After which, Monochrome rejoices, for he has regained his memories. On the final track of the album, Game Over, that more powerful entity is revealed, and declares that he will crush both Monochrome and Morkanam, the latter of which is his own creation, actually. Already hinting at a sequel to this album. So there's kind of a whole Super Smash Bros. Master Hand relationship going on there. Overall, I'm honored and privileged that I can be able to review such an album as this. I honestly have nothing bad to say about this album. Of course, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of some of the melodies on this album, but it didn't keep me from enjoying it. The only problem I could see with the album, though, is that if you just don't get it. If you didn't grow up playing games on like the N64 or the Sega Genesis, or didn't watch cartoons on Cartoon Network, or anything like that, you probably won't understand the message or the layout of the album. And really, this album is a love letter to those who have done those things, such as myself. I see a lot of myself in this album, actually. My experiences growing up, discovering Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time, and how those games just changed my life. Waking up every Saturday morning to watch cartoons like Fighting Foodon, Sonic X, Kirby Right Back At Ya, Shaman King, Ultimate Muscle, TMNT, and Cubics Robots for Everyone on the Foxbox, all my friends gathering on my porch to trade Pokemon cards or have Beyblade battles, getting my first GameCube for my birthday, which I still own, by the way, getting Sonic Adventure 2 Battle all those years ago, and I still have that same copy, and it still works. All of this is to say that this album is meant for people like me and anyone else who doesn't want to, let go of their childhood memories. People always tell us to stop living in the past, or, to get the nostalgia out of our eyes. But this is kind of the stuff that made people like us, and that's why we don't want to let go of those memories. That's why you have, people older than me that still play Kirby or Pokemon. So if you're into video game music from consoles like Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Sega Genesis, and so on, then I can't recommend this album to you enough. Anyways, thank you for watching this another album review. I have to give much thanks to Monochrome for allowing me to review his album. I really enjoyed listening through it. I really enjoyed, talking to you about it and getting to review it and everything. I will leave a link to the songs that are on Bandcamp down in the description. It's a free download. You don't have to pay for it. So I really recommend you go and support him by listening to his music and checking out everything that he has. Anyways, thank you once again for watching. If you want a song or album to be reviewed that you like or recommend, just leave a comment down below and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. So for like the third time, thank you for watching, and so long.